Hey everybody, welcome back to the African Homestead, and just wanted to share with you a little project I'm working on today as we prepare for our dry season garden. Some of the things that I'm going to talk about, actually a lot of the things I'm going to talk about, really aren't going to be particularly unique to working in Africa or working in the tropics. So you'll find them useful in North America or Europe or wherever you're watching from. And so today is one of those examples. During our rainy season garden, we had a problem with ants. We had a problem with a lot of things during the rainy season. It's just for most types of agriculture, it's not a good time to have a garden or a farm just because of the heavy amounts of rain. As I mentioned in the last video, here along the coast we get about 200 inches of rain every year, most of that within a 6-month rainy season. And so that equates to about, I think, 17 feet of rain within 6 months. So we get a huge amount of rainfall. And with that, we get a variety of pests. One of those are ants. We have red ants, otherwise known as fire ants. The ones you enjoy in North America, from what I understand, those originated from West Africa. And so that's one of the things that I want to work on today, is because those red ants and some other types of ants really attack the roots of the plants during our rainy season garden. They're much more active during the rainy season than the dry season, so that actually we're going to have a little bit of help with that. But we're still going to have a problem with ants. So I want to take a preemptive strike in attacking the ants before they can attack my plants. Okay, so what we're going to do today is nothing that's a new invention. It's nothing that's never been used before, but it's the first time I've had the opportunity to use it. And so the main ingredient in this, the poison that we're going to use to kill the ants, is good old borax. And the different places that I've researched online, they said it's good to use a mixture of borax, sugar, and then water, and then mix that in with cotton balls. Well, we don't have cotton balls here. They're either hard to find or they're really expensive. So I'm going to improvise a little bit, and that's really the way of life in a developing country like where I live. Is a lot of things that normally are available and cheap in the U.S. are not available here, or they're prohibitively expensive. And so I've gotten some Q-tip type cleaners. I've got some toilet paper here that will shred up, and use that. And then the other thing that the challenge I face is, because this is poisonous, I have kids, I have dogs, I have cats, which I'm not a cat lover. So anyway, I'll leave that. I don't want to cause hate mail right at the beginning. But I need to be able to protect my children and protect my animals from getting poisoned. And all of the people previously, they would just say, put the cotton balls on the counter or put them out somewhere temporarily and restrain your animals. Well, I can't restrain my children. I can't restrain my dogs. They're actually part of the security here, and so they need to be able to roam free. So what I came up with was actually just to take a jar, and a plastic one. We have some here from Peanut Butter. I'm not endorsing anyone here except this. Liberia Pure Honey is actually an organic honey produced in Liberia from smallholders, free trade, fair trade, all that. This is a fantastic organization. So what I'm going to do, I'm going to use these to protect my kids, protect my animals from getting accidentally poisoned. Okay, so the first thing that we're going to do is go ahead and do this mixture and let that dissolve while we do the other work. So what you want to do, again, if you're in a family with children, even if you're in a family with adults, not everybody's smart enough to not drink from an unmarked container. So you want to mark something. Identify this as poison, and then just as a reminder to myself, what kind of poison is it? Well, this is the borax poison. So I'll know next time I'm looking for it, this is what I want to use to kill ants. And so what we do, we start off with, we put in the borax, and so that is 1.5 tablespoons of borax. We'll put that in there. That's 1 tablespoon. And let me just go ahead and get another approximately half tablespoon here. Okay, that should about do it. So there's your half tablespoon. And then thankfully, and I saved myself probably from getting in trouble with my wife. Thankfully, I did find some sugar. There wasn't enough, and so I found some sugar cubes, and they'll dissolve just the same. And so that's a half cup of sugar that we'll put in there. As you see, we just go ahead and get this all cleaned up into the cup. Good deal. And then you add 1.5 cups of water. And so I just have, this is just regular water here. That is everything you need. I also marked the lid just in case they got separated. Mark the lid as poison. And so that I'll let that just dissolve while I work on the rest of the project and get that ready. Okay, so we took care of the sweet mixture, and that's dissolving now. So now we're gonna try the savory mixture just in case the ants I'm trying to kill tonight have a sweet tooth. So I just have some creamy peanut butter here. Now this, oh, it's brand new. And this one is gonna be a little less scientific because as somebody, they just suggested using peanut butter instead of using the sugar mixture as a way to attract the ants. And so they didn't really have a recipe, so I'm just going to have to kind of wing it here. But what I'm going to start off with, I'll just get a nice spoonful of peanut butter, and I'll just use the lid to mix it in of the container I'm going to use to attract the ants and keep everybody safe. And then in that, I'm just going to add just kind of a sprinkling of the borax because it doesn't really say how much I need. But you can see how little borax, when you look at 1.5 cups of water, half cup of sugar, you only use 1.5 tablespoons of borax. So it's not a huge part of the mixture, but it's enough to poison the ants. And so what I'm going to do is just use this and get it mixed in with the peanut butter, and we'll see how it does in killing the ants. Sometimes less is more. I've always been in that the thing that companies hate. I'm in that group of people where they'll say, well, for this you should use 10% mixture. I'll say, well, 10% is good, then I might as well use 20-25%, and then that'll be that much better. And so usually it turns out to be a disaster because they're the experts and I am not. And so what I'm doing here, just getting this well mixed. And obviously for ants, this is a huge amount of food. And so I could actually spread this out over several different containers, and I think I'll probably do that. Okay, so what we want to do next with the kids and the animals here, I need to keep them safe. And so I didn't find anyone with the idea of how to do that in a home setting or a setting out in your yard to kill the ants but not kill your family and animal friends. And so I thought about it yesterday evening, and I this morning actually came up with the idea, why don't we just take one of these and give access for the ants, but not give access for the kids. And I might open those up a little bit, but I want to keep them small enough to where even if the dog rolls it around, they won't really be able to get much of anything out of there. And so that's my idea. So that's what we're trying out, and I'll probably just drill a few more holes, and so it has plenty of places for the ants to get in and out, because the whole goal is that the ants will pick up the liquid poison. From what I've read, adult ants eat the liquid, and then they take the solids down, which is going to be the shredded toilet paper and the ends from the Q-tips. They'll take that down to the larvae and feed the solids to the larvae. And so the idea is to give them access to be able to get in and out of here and carry the poison away down into the nest, because you can kill ants on the surface, but there are many more underground than on the surface. So you want to get that poison down into the heart of the nest so you cause maximum damage. Okay, next let's go ahead and make the filling here. So I've not tried this yet. I just kind of an idea I had, and so my thinking was I could use the cotton from the end here and kind of open that up a little bit like that to just get the ends peeled off, and then be able to use the cotton to put in the sugar mixture, and also for the peanut butter, be able to use those in the peanut butter. So I'm just basically taking the heads off these Q-tips, and that's that. And so there's some of those. I won't do all of them, I'll do the rest of those later. And then the other thing I want to try is just take some regular old toilet paper and just shred it up. Kind of the same idea. You want to be able to have it to where they can take some pieces. And also this toilet paper, as toilet paper does, is designed to dissolve in water fairly quickly. So I don't know if that will be a help or a hindrance, because when we put it in the mixture, we don't want it to completely dissolve. We want it to hold together a little bit. Someone had suggested paper towels as an option. I just don't have any paper towels here. And again, in Liberia, they're expensive, and so we don't really use paper towels. Sorry, my wife just called, and the iPhone decided that was a bigger priority than this. And so now I've shredded some of these up, and what I'll do is to get the mixture right here, and pretty much, as you can see, it's pretty much dissolved. And so I've been shaking it as I take breaks, and so it's pretty much dissolved now. And so we'll just take some of this, and there we go. Obviously that's not watertight, so I'll have to be sure to wash my hands, and probably advisable to use gloves in this process. And so what I'll do, I'll just take some of this toilet paper here. There we go. Dip it in there, and then just drop that mixture into here. You know, we could do, if you don't have that, like here, I'll just take some of the cotton from the Q-tips, dip it in there, drop it in that. And so that will have enough, and you can see it's dripping out a little bit, which actually is I think good, because when I set this on the ground, the ants may not, you know, get the scent from inside, but if there's some of this sugar mixture on the outside, that will draw them in to come and get some of that sugar to take home to mama. And so we'll try that. And then with the other one, we have our peanut butter right here. It's all pretty much dissolved now. And so what we'll do with that, we'll just take some of that again. Here, I'll just mix it up right here on the table. Get my hands all dirty. Again, this is poison, so you want to be sure and wash your hands really well. When everything's done, clean up the work surface. And so even the cotton balls here, I'll mix that in. And again, this is probably way too much for what an ant needs, and so I'll probably divide that among a couple different containers. But same idea, just get it all kind of mushed in there so they have something to take home to mama. Drop it in the jar. Use this one to clean up. Put the lid on. And again, it doesn't hurt just to put just a dab around the holes to draw them inside. Okay, so we ended up finding a very, very large anthill. This whole thing is just full of ants, and you know, you can see I just tapped it, and there are just thousands and thousands of ants swarming it. I was planning on putting these in different places, but as you can see, the whole thing is just swarming with ants. So I decided, well, since we have such a big anthill, might as well just drop 3 hydrogen bombs right here. And hopefully here in the next few days, they're gonna take all this poison and take it to mama, feed it to the babies, and this whole anthill will be dead. And so even as I speak right now, I have some fire ants biting my feet, and so I'm gonna have to cut it off. It's been a couple of days since we put the ant bait out, the borax mixture, and so I wanted to just do a quick test to see how it looks now. And so you can see they're still here. You can see where the ants have kind of built up a little bit around. So let me just knock the soil a little bit, and well, that's not what I was hoping to see. So it looks like they are still a lot of them around. The mixture is still there. There are ants inside and ants outside, but I'm not too hopeful with what I see now, because now I just ticked off about 1,000 of these ants. So anyway, I'm going to wait a few more days and see how it looks, and hopefully have better results by then. Okay, so it's been about 5 or 6 days since we put the borax poison, the bait, onto this big anthill, this fire anthill, and so I want to just do my final check to see, okay, is it a success or is it a failure? And so let's check this out. All right, so you can see we still have this. We'll just knock the hill a little bit, and holy cow. So there's a few ants here, but it looks like 99% of this hill is dead. Yeah, I can just see a few ants around, but the vast majority, I mean, there were thousands and thousands of ants here less than a week ago, and it appears that except for these few ants, everything else is dead. So hopefully time will tell. I'm gonna make some more of these, and I have a couple other smaller ant hills that I'm gonna test it on, but it looks like it works. So that's great, because I didn't have too many options. I tried a couple other things during the rainy season that didn't work at all, and so I tell you what, I'm totally stoked about this. This is fantastic to see so few ants, and it's a major problem here, and so good deal, thank God. Okay, so that's it. That's today's project, and just wanted to share. I want to share some behind the scenes with you real quick, just so you understand. I love living in West Africa. I love living in a developing country, but obviously living in a developing country has its own host of challenges. And so a lot of my friends that I follow, subscribe to their channels, homesteading and off-grid and permaculture and all kinds of fantastic shows like that. They have the luxury of being able to have access to things like stabilizers for their cameras. Well, I'm holding mine at the end of my arm. Maybe I'll get that later on, but it's just not something I have access to right now. And things like tripods, and I'm using an iPhone right now, which is a blessing, but I don't have a tripod or a holder for that, and so I hold it on my hand. And this is actually, for this project, I decided I'm going to design my own high-tech tripod, and it's actually a monopod. It's a fully secure and stabilized, and so this is what I came up with. And actually what I did, I had to cut it down, and then I just take the phone and I set it in these slots right here, and this is my high-tech tripod that I used to shoot this. And so none of us should use the excuse that we can't do things because we don't have the money, or we can't do things because we don't have the resources, or we can't do things because we don't have the equipment. That's a cop-out. I mean, the fact is, if it's something we care about, something we're passionate about, we will find a way to make it happen. That's one thing I've really learned while living in Liberia. These are tenacious people here. There's no problem that can't be solved. And sometimes it's crude, sometimes it only lasts for a little while, like this tripod is not going to be too durable, but it works. It gets you through what you need to get through. And so just wanted to share that with you, that we all can do what we need to do, and if we say we can't because we don't have the right stuff, it's just an excuse. And so I'll just leave you with that. But anyway, thank you very much for watching the video. I want to encourage you to click the subscribe button. And right now, I mean, I'm shooting these. I'm not even posting them yet. So when you start seeing them, I'm hopefully have a little bit of a catalog developed before I start posting them. But right now, I don't have any videos on, and obviously no subscribers. And so I want to encourage you, take this journey with me, walk with me through the dirt roads and the jungles, and see how it is living and homesteading in Africa.